It's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com. A quick news update for you guys on Disney purchasing Comcast stake in Hulu. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. So way back in 2019, Disney purchased 20th Century Fox. Now at the time, Disney had 30% of Hulu, Comcast had 30%, 20th Century Fox had 30%, and AT&T had 10%. So obviously with Disney buying out Fox stake, they went up to 60% and had them the majority. AT&T sold its stake back to Hulu, which basically meant then that Disney had 66%, while Comcast had 33%. Now at the time, the two companies came to an agreement which would see Disney taking over the day-to-day running of Hulu, but also they put in a put-call agreement. That meant that in 2024, either Disney or Comcast could basically force Disney to buy out Comcast's stake in Hulu for a market valuation. Now they did agree at the time that the minimum it would be worth would be $27.5 billion. That's for the whole of Hulu. So obviously Comcast would only be a third of that. There's also some other elements as well in this contract which would allow for Comcast stake to be reduced if it didn't keep up its upkeep of putting in investments. Now there has been reports that they weren't doing that, and that may actually reduce it. Now last year Disney did actually activate its clause in the contract that allowed it to force Comcast to sell its stake. Now they paid Comcast $8.61 billion for its stake. However, the final valuation still has to be done. Now both companies ended up hiring different companies to go off and value it, and that has been very sort of interesting to see, because JP Morgan, who was representing Disney, valued Hulu at $27.5 billion, while Morgan Stanley had valued it at over $40 billion. Now, because both these valuations are more than 10% apart, a third independent company called RBC Capital has been brought in to calculate Hulu's value. This would determine the amount that Disney would have to pay. Now, this is the kind of the big thing. So they've had to bring in a third party. There's, it's been on this stage for a while, and they're trying to come up with the last negotiations. Now, to be honest, this is a major problem of why we've not really seen Disney fully going all in on Hulu and Disney Plus and things like that. They're still kind of locked into the fact that while they have paid them the $8 billion, until that final valuation is done and things are finally sorted, things can't get done. So the valuation was based on last September. Now this valuation is based on what they think that Hulu was worth on the 30th of September 2023, just before the launch of Hulu on Disney Plus. And also, I think really until we get Comcast completely out of the way, Disney can't really move forward on its plan to expand on Hulu. Now this is, I think, has caused a couple of issues, obviously, with the we're not really seeing a lot of promotion and activity around Hulu on Disney Plus. They've brought it in last year and they said that they could do that, and it's still technically a separate subscription, so therefore it doesn't mean anything for Hulu and Comcast's stake. But I do believe that once Disney get this final thing sorted, then they can kind of move forward on their plans. Now, I do honestly believe that at some point in the future, Hulu will then be merged into Disney Plus, and they'll have one single streaming service in the United States to really go up against Netflix and Amazon and Max and have this huge just as a selection of stuff. Now, the fact that they've already added in the Hulu content into Disney Plus does definitely, to me, kind of indicate that the way that we're seeing them move forward. But also, more importantly, how Disney Plus works internationally, where it's already got the Star Hub. Now, I also think that once this deal is finalized, I wouldn't be at all surprised if the Star Hub ends up getting rebranded to Hulu, because Disney are also selling Disney Star in India. They're kind of merging it in with Reliance, and they're going to end up with a new super company and create a whole new streaming service there. It's all going to be very interesting to see how that comes, and therefore the Star branding might be something that they want to get rid of as well, and it would make sense and it would save them a lot of money if everywhere was just using the same Hulu brand, and that would make a lot of things a lot more simple. But really, we've just kind of been in this kind of state of limbo for a long time since this all come in, and we're definitely looking forward to seeing what's happened. Now, we've seen a lot of argy-bargy going on between the CEOs and stuff of the valuation. During a recent Q&A at the Bloomberg Screen Time event in Los Angeles, Comcast CEO Brian Roberts was asked about the current situation to Hulu, to which he replied, "We're going to figure out eventually. We worked out an amicable way to extricate the company. We've already taken billions of dollars out of several $100 million investment, and maybe more to come, we hope." Now, there's something there that I want to get in on, and the fact of his words about the fact that we might get get some more money, we hope. Up until this point, we've definitely seen like Comcast being very bullish about the valuation of Hulu, and they've been kind of pushing it, 40 billion, and they're going to get billions more money out of Disney. They've made a great investment, and they're going to get some more money of it. This seemed to be a little bit more kind of a step back. Now, there could be a couple of reasons for this. Either the final valuation has come in and they're just crossing the I's and crossing the T's and just kind of getting all that sorted, and therefore wants to set the tone for shareholders of Comcast to not expect a huge amount. Maybe it's a little bit, billion, what's that between major companies. But this is something I think is a big change. Up till now they've been saying, oh yeah, we're going to get paid a lot. They've already had the 8 billion. Maybe they're going to get a little bit more. Now, this could be 3, 4, 5 billion, something in those lines, depending if it's closer to 40. But also, I'm wondering now whether or not he didn't really want to, poke the bear, didn't really want to get things going. Maybe things are nearly finalised and they don't want to mess things up. Because it was a very different kind of approach than he's had in the past, where he's kind of said, oh yeah, we're going to make loads of money out of this. They've already had it. It has opened up things they can also spend that 8 billion on. Maybe it's some other purchase. He talked as well during that event about Paramount, also Warner Brothers, whether or not it would get into some more assets. But they're really leaning in now on kind of internet and the technology way of, they're not necessarily looking to be the biggest streamer and chasing Netflix. They're more interested about being your internet provider or your Wi-Fi provider, etc. That's where they think their money is, and that's where they can do a lot more stuff and doing all the different bundles and stuff. But yeah, it was a very kind of low energy response to it. It was usually in the past it's been very bullish. Now I do wonder whether we're going to get an announcement about this soon. We have got a quarterly results coming up next month. That'd be a nice time for Disney to put it out there to kind of get this thing finalised. And maybe then once they've done that, they can then set out their plans for what they want to do. And like I said, I suspect we're going to see them merge Disney Plus and Hulu in the US because, again, Hulu isn't available internationally. It's already been incorporated into Disney Plus. We've already seen them moving stuff in there. They can save a lot of money. They can save not having to create all the originals for Disney Plus. We've already seen them drastically cut back. You only have to look at the amount of content they're putting on to Disney Plus now and compared to what it was, because all that Hulu content kind of fills it up and they don't need it. So therefore they can save them all the money that way. Saving money on advertising, saving money on PR, saving money on server costs. There's a whole host of different things that they can do by merging them together and then really having one single platform. So I do think it's coming, whether or not that's in 2025 or 2026. I do think it's easier for them to do it now that most people have got used to the idea of Hulu and Disney Plus. It's going to be a much easier step forward, simplify the system a little bit. So they've only got one subscription plan. I mean, they can do different ones, add tier, premium and standard like they do internationally. But I do think this is going to be coming pretty soon. Because comments from Brian definitely, like I said, seemed very subtle. Wasn't really a thing of like, well, we hope to get more money. That's not really kind of saying, we are going to make it and, we think there's a lot of value in it. It sounds to me like the valuations come in and then we're just kind of waiting for it. So hopefully we get this confirmed pretty soon. As I said, Hulu has been in limbo ever since this stuff come in. It feels like really Hulu's been in limbo for the last 6 years. And once Disney finally get this thing sorted, they can finally move forward, push forward. Now, I know there's some people that don't necessarily want all that Hulu content in Disney Plus and like it the way it was when it was just for kids and stuff. But ultimately, the industry is consolidating. We're seeing more streaming services coming together. Disney's already found that when they combine everything together, it reduces churn. We're also going to be getting ESPN as a hub launching on Disney Plus in the US later this year. And then next year, the full flagship version will also be available within Disney Plus. You can see them kind of wanting to get everything in and having this bundle. It's just extra layers that none of the other platforms need to do. And right now, especially if you're in the US, I'd say you have to have a Hulu subscription to really have all the great shows that they're putting out there. But hopefully we get an update on this pretty soon and we can get things forward. But yeah, this comment from CEO from Comcast was a little bit more subtle, as I said. Hopefully we get an update at the next quarterly, either from people asking and Bob Iger can talk about it, or they just have finally settled it. But Disney has said that they want to have it done by the end of this year. Not too long left. Yeah, hopefully they can do so, but let me know what you think. Do you think it's a good idea? How much do you think it's going to go for? Love to hear your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Laters.